Hi, Olivia Neely here with my final video presentation. The situation that I'm discussing is one that occurred at my roommate's place of employment. She works nights as a dispatcher for the local police department, and the department is really small compared to the community that it serves. The dispatchers are not a desired position. Daytime dispatchers may encounter other people, but nighttime dispatchers typically are alone. The pay is low, the shifts are long, and they're on a 2-week rotation, which makes it hard to make any plans outside of work. Unexpectedly, one of the dispatchers quit, so the chief needed to hire someone sooner than later. Most of the potential candidates wanted too much money and couldn't pass a drug test. Finally, he came across a woman who was retiring from driving an ambulance and wanted to start a new career. Not seeing any red flags in her background and the ability to pass a drug test, he hired her. I will then speak now as I am the chief and the transformational leader. So the new dispatcher was placed with another female dispatcher for training as they go through a 6-month probation period. A week into it, that training dispatcher got sick, and so the new employee was placed with a male dispatcher. He was not happy about this. It was something he was kind of forced into doing, and he made that well known. He came in, he made the comment to the new dispatcher that she needed to go sit and look pretty while he did the work. That didn't go over so well with her, but she didn't say anything to anybody. She didn't say anything to me or any of my officers that day. The next day, she went directly to city council. When HR called me, I was embarrassed because I didn't know what was going on in my own department. I called her in to get her side of the story and took all my information to internal affairs. Normally, I would have liked to have dealt with the complaint in-house and with my people, but because she had gone to city council, I had to take those necessary steps. I fought hard for the male dispatcher. He was in the wrong, but HR wanted to fire him. I fought hard for him, and I got him a suspension and a demotion, which in the long run does seem like a fair trade. The next day, another one of my dispatchers was in the hallway making comments that may or may not be about the new dispatcher situation. She felt it was. She came to me with a complaint, and ultimately that officer was suspended and demoted as disciplinary actions for what happened with him. As you can imagine, this has ruffled a lot of feathers. Their morale is very low, and there's a lack of trust going on in my department right now. As the chief, I need to review my actions and potential actions in the way of being a transformational leader. Transformational leaders will seek to motivate and inspire others, and per Boss 1990, they aim to meet emotional needs while intellectually stimulating their followers for success. To be successful, one must question the status quo and encourage creative and innovative thinking. Sometimes looking outside of the box is the way to go. You have to be a great communicator, which also means listening, not always talking. A transformational leader cannot succeed alone and has to work on generating relationships of trust with the followers. The situation described earlier does leave a lot of opportunity to improve on being a transformational leader. The new dispatcher and I had not had many interactions, therefore we had not built up a relationship, let alone any trust towards each other. I can see where she would feel more comfortable skipping over me to go to city council. However, the unintended consequence of her action and the subsequent discipline that has created a hostile workplace where everyone feels they're walking on eggshells and nobody really trusts anybody. To avoid this in the future, I need to work more closely with the new employees and stress that I am their support. I am their backbone. I will be here for them to come to me and make them feel valued and important enough that if there's something that makes them uncomfortable, I will listen and I will figure out what we need to do to make it better. For our current employees, I need to be more flexible with our schedules and not dictate who goes on what shift and try and ask more for help from my officers if they know more about what they can handle. Not doing this creates cranky officers, and that's not going to work for us. There are 4 main components that incorporate transformational leadership. That is ideal influence, inspirational motivation, individualized consideration, and intellectual stimulation. The first component is idealized influence. This refers to the concept that leaders will be role models to follow. They lead by example, they take a hands-on approach, and they follow through with their word. They always lead with integrity, and they have high moral and ethical standards. This builds trust between leaders and followers, and per Van Den Acker 2009, followers are more likely to follow leaders that they perceive as having high ethical and moral standards. So, this needs to be a successful component for any transformational leader. I believe I've done very well in this area. It is important to build genuine relationships with the community as well as with my officers. I developed the community outreach program to help develop these relationships. I run the Facebook page to keep the community informed, and I tend to add a joke and safety tips and things like that to engage all types of followers. I keep an open door policy in my department, and I praise and punish as necessary. I'm fair to every officer, and I do not have nor play favorites. I will engage in different training sessions so that way my officers have the ability to better themselves professionally, personally, and all combined. I should have emphasized more to the new dispatcher that I am her confidant and that I'm on her side no matter what. I am there to protect her and to support her. She did trust me enough to come to me with her second complaint, so that does show improvement. I also need to work with some of my male officers to ensure the comments come out of their mouth are appropriate. I need them to understand that what they were saying is not something that I would say, therefore it isn't appropriate. Inspirational motivation is the second component. This refers to the ability to inspire confidence, motivate, and provide a sense of purpose in my followers, as told by Schultz, Note 8. This can only be done if a transformational leader possesses a positive and enthusiastic attitude. And one way in which to motivate and inspire is to develop a clear mission or vision statement that will guide the future of the organization and all of the followers. The vision has to be clearly communicated and conveyed with precision and a sense of authority. The transformational leader must demonstrate commitment to the goals of that vision or it will fail. Earlier in this course, I had developed the following vision statement. Our organization is committed to providing the highest quality police services to the community and continues to be a role model for society. I stand by that vision. That is exactly where I want to go. Before I took this position over 3 years ago, I vowed to turn things around in this department. Morale was low, turnover was high, and it was a sad place to work. But I wanted to make the change that was necessary that all of the employees would benefit from. Our organization will continue to protect the community whilst engaging our community members. The outreach program and some other programs that we've developed are how we're working on building trust between officer and citizen. I'm going to continue to develop exceptional officers that aspire to have lifelong careers in law enforcement. I want people who want to be here. Our job is not easy, and some days are harder than others. Some days, when the gangs are active, I know my officers are nervous about going out there. But I come in, I put my vest on, my belt on, my badge on, and my gun on, and I show them that they're not alone, that I am there with them, and I am by their side. I lead this organization. My decisions will have positive results that will influence the future of the organization in a positive way. Not only do they align with the organization's values, but mine as well. Out of the values list, the top values that I chose for myself in my organization: spirituality, family, honesty, quality, and dependability. All of these are what makes me a good man and an even better cop. Individual consideration refers to the transformational leader being caring, nurturing, and supportive of each follower's personal development, Zacher 2014. The transformational leader needs to make others feel important and valued, and when this happens, followers are more inclined to go above and beyond and please the leader. Giving personalized attention and showing genuine interest in the follower is sure to bring out the best of that individual and guide them on a path of success. I am a big fan of the saying, a person who feels appreciated will always do more than what is expected. Every year at Christmas, we give away awards at our Christmas party. Rookie of the Year, Admin of the Year, Patrol Officer of the Year, and a bunch of others. I want my people that I notice what they're doing. I want them to appreciate that I actually pay attention to what they are doing, and I'm going to recognize them for a job well done. I think this is something that we need to work on a little bit because I regret that the new dispatcher did not feel she could come to me. I want everybody to come to me. I want them to know that I will have their best interest at heart. I think the dispatcher who made the comments needs to be disciplined. I did not feel that firing was the right call, so I fought for it. I'm going to fight for those employees, for my people that deserve to be there. I'm going to push my people to succeed as much as I can, and throwing the towel in for that dispatcher was not an option for me. I was going to fight as hard as I needed to. Every one of my officers should know that I'm going to fight for you. The final component is intellectual stimulation. This is the way in which a leader can inspire the followers to challenge their own assumptions and those of the leader as well by questioning everything the follower believes to be true. Boyd 2009. Using that questioning, the leader will intellectually stimulate followers to be creative and innovative, to think outside the box, to question what they know, and to come up with new ways to solve problems. In our scenario, intellectual stimulation should be more present. There are always going to be conflicts, and as a department, I need to figure out the best way to address them. I will continue to encourage my people to voice any concerns they have, regardless of how long they've been employed with me. I'm going to emphasize that there is a chain of command to file complaints, but I'm open to any other suggestions. How would you feel more comfortable making complaints, and how would you feel being more comfortable in the aftermath of said complaint? All ideas are going to be welcome, no matter how extreme they are, and there will never be judgment for them. I will never allow retaliation for any complaint made. And this has been a little tricky to navigate, as a lot of people are upset about the dispatcher's complaints. I'm trying to watch my people closely and listen to make sure that I can stop any more negativity before it starts. I need to make sure that all of my people, new and old, feel like their feelings are valid and that they are important and that they are comfortable expressing themselves. I'm always going to have an open door policy, and I want everyone to use it. I might consider using a problem-solving model to ensure that we are efficiently able to handle the concerns. One example would be the CRESTOM's 7-step framework from CRESTCOM 2017. To be successful at intellectual stimulation, we could use a tool that helps our people think independently while providing a safe environment for everyone to express all of their concerns. A successful transformational leader must be accepting of change and able to help facilitate change. This process is known as being a change agent. Kuros 2013. Someone who's on the inside of the organization and familiar with the current operations is known as an internal change agent. That person must follow the change from the initial steps all the way to the follow-through after the change has been completed. But change can only occur if everybody is on board with it. Most people are motivated by change when it brings desirable consequences and benefits to them. But it only takes one person to slow down the change process. Change is inevitable, and how we deal with change is the difference between success and failure. In our department, change all starts with me as the chief. To be a good change agent, I must be able to clearly communicate my vision to the entire department. I realize change will not happen overnight, so I must be patient and encourage patience along with people. There is change that needs to happen looking at our current situation. First and foremost, our people need to treat each other with better respect. I will assess if we need more training on how to do this, sensitivity training, HR training. I'm going to look and see if that's something we need to brush up on how to treat each other with respect and how to talk to each other. Change is not always easy, and sometimes not everybody's going to be on board with change. And even though they know it's got to happen, it doesn't mean they feel better about it. And it's my job to make that transition a smooth one. After all, every move that I make and every change that I make as a transformational leader is going to impact all of my officers and the community. I need to ensure that I am making good change decisions to continue to thrive as a department and as an officer. Diversity is so important to the success of any organization. Diversity typically refers to the differences within the people of an organization. Daring, no date. Most people automatically think of age, gender, and race when it comes to diversity, but there's so much more that it includes. A couple other examples are religions, cultures, and education. There's a lot of benefits to having a diverse workforce. Daring, no date, explains that it brings people with different talents and skills together. We can bounce ideas off each other and think creatively and innovatively and learn from each other. Language barriers have been proven to be the largest obstacle for most organizations, and it is an obstacle for mine. I realized when I took this position the department was not diverse. The former chief was considered something of an old country boy and did not believe in a diverse workforce. He had his bias in what he thought was an ideal police force. A bias is a tendency, inclination, or prejudice towards toward or against something that or someone. Sue, 2010. And he obviously hired only white men for the department. Since I started this job, I've been working to amend that. I do not believe that all diversity played a role in the scenario described earlier. I think it just happened to be 2 white people, 1 male, female in the first complaint, and then 2 white people, 1 male, 1 female in the second one as well. Currently in my department, there are 69 people. All 4 of my dispatchers are white, and only 1 of them is male. Not 1 of them is bilingual. We have 25 officers on patrol, and they are all white. Only 2 of them are female, and not 1 of them are bilingual. Out of the remaining 40 officers, they make up the command staff, the investigation unit, and the K-9 unit. We have 2 females here as well, and we have 3 Hispanics and 2 African American. The only officers that can speak dual languages are the 3 Hispanics. We absolutely need a more diverse workforce. I think this will help us connect more with our community, as we tend to be in an African American dominated community. We have a lot of gang activity, and that does tend to play a role in the work that we do. I've been making an effort to hire diversity, but it hasn't been going real well. The last 7 diverse individuals that I've tried to hire have failed out of the academy. The gentleman within that also had a nervous breakdown because he couldn't handle the pressure. But I'm not deterred. I will continue to look for diversity while hiring the best person for the position. I know that embracing diversity will only help me thrive as a transformational leader. Transformational leadership emphasizes on the leaders calling on the organization to not only recognize when change is needed, but how to make the change happen and how to make it happen smoothly. Not only do I want to see that my department succeed, I want to see my officers succeed as well. I need to run this department the best of my ability while keeping the community safe, and I will push my employees to succeed. That is only part of what makes me a great transformational leader.